It's literally just started raining. I don't know if you can hear it, but just what cozy time. Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Agus and we're gonna chat about books today again. I have seen that bestie Sarah, who is one of my favorite booktubers of all time, did this thing that is called the mid-year book tag, and I've seen that a lot of creators do it, but my inspo is specifically from Sarah's video, and I did a couple of extra prompts. But I'm so excited because I feel like this is probably the year that I've read the most so far. I think I'm in 36 books, which for me that is a lot. I know we all have different paces, and I've seen a lot of people read like over 100 books already. That's just not me, but for me, like 36 books is a lot. So I wanted to share some of my favorites, some of my like favorites in different categories. I've done like a book that has made me cry the most, my new favorite character, new favorite cover, just a bunch of little things of all the different books that I've read this year. And I think we're gonna talk, I don't know, about maybe 10 books. Anyways, let's get started. The book that I'm going to start with is my new favorite book character of all time, and this character comes from the book Beartown. This is a trilogy and I'm currently on the 3rd book, and I don't want to talk about it because I already know it gets really emotional and it's been alluding to some things that I don't really want to know, so we're not going to talk about it. But I'm like 100 pages in, or sorry, 200 pages in. Like I said, my new favorite character comes from Beartown, written by Frederick Bachman. This is my first series by him that I have read, and I absolutely adore his writing. And the character that I'm talking about is Benji. I love Benji so much. I just want to give him one big hug and just tell him it's all gonna be fine. And don't tell me, don't tell me. I don't know how it ends, and I don't want to know. But I just want to give him a hug. This series, just, it's like, you know, when you talk about Magnolia Parks, that those characters feel real. I feel like the Beartown people feel just as real to me. These are people that live in a town that lives for hockey. This is literally all they think, talk about, they live for it. And of course there are a lot of things that this little town fights about, and honestly these people feel so real to me. All of their problems and everything, again, I just want to like be able to help them. So I definitely recommend this. It is definitely a bit of a heavier, slower read, but these characters are, I don't want to say beautiful because they're all so flawed, but I think that's what's so beautiful and human about them. So I definitely recommend Beartown, but again, it's very different to your normal like romance sort of books. Very different to what I usually read, but I'm loving so far, and I know I'm gonna be destroyed. Don't want to think about it. Next one, we're gonna go to the biggest surprise of the year, which turned out to be a 5-star read for me. And when I say a biggest surprise, is because I didn't even know this book was coming, and I'm talking about Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I had no idea this book was coming out. All of a sudden I hear, I think it was like Bestie Des talking about like this book, and I was like, wait, what do you mean a new Jessa book is coming out? And I wasn't even gonna read it then. I was like, oh, I'll just wait, like I'm in no rush. But then I saw this TikTok with like the aesthetic of it, and I was like, I'm sold. Literally bought it like right after I saw that TikTok, because the aesthetic was like everything, I don't know, it just really called to me. And I loved this book. It was a 5-star read. I loved it so much. I feel like Jessa writes like a stream of consciousness. We've spoken about this before when talking about Magnolia. Very similar writing style, of course, very different characters and different storyline, but I loved this book so much. This book follows Georgia, who is from the Carolinas but lives in London now. She's kind of escaped all of her family drama, but then all of a sudden when her dad dies, she needs to come back for the funeral and face problems that have been, you know, festering for years. And it is so beautiful. She studies behavioral psychology, so she's really good at reading people, and it's just so interesting to be in her mind, and all of the family dynamics are so interesting. So I really enjoyed this book, and it was such a big surprise because I didn't even know it was coming. And I love Magnolia Parks, but I didn't love Never, so I wasn't sure how it was going to go with a different series, but I absolutely loved this. And I really want to go give Never another try because there was just so much slander back in the day that I just don't know if it was like my perspective or my perspective mixed with a lot of reviews. So I just really want to give it another go because I love Tinkerbell, I love Peter Pan, I love that kind of vibe. So I definitely want to give it another go, but that's a problem for another day. Next, we're gonna go to my new favorite series of all time, and this one will probably not be new to pretty much everybody ever because this series has been around for ages, but I was a huge fan of the films, but I had never read the books, and I finally did it. And I am talking about none other than the Hunger Games. You guys, first of all, let's talk about this editions. Like, they are absolutely stunning, and I'm so glad that I happened to get to read them when these were out, because I love them so much and they feel so nice. Like, they just look stunning, and there is so much thunder, you guys, could you hear that? Like, where I come from in Argentina, we do have a lot of thunderstorms, but that never happens here. Like, I've only heard a couple thunderstorms since moving to England. That's crazy. I was just walking out there. Anyways, got distracted. Back to the Hunger Games. You guys, this series has my whole heart now. I, first of all, loved the writing. Second of all, I already loved the characters, but I love them even more now. Katniss, Peeta, Finnick, like, they mean so much, and there's so many little moments that are not in the films that just make everything even better, and all of the payoffs in this book. Like, I literally was crying so much at the end. Like, it is such a good series, and there's so many good themes in it. But I think my favorite one, I would have to say, is definitely Catching Fire. It's both the book and the film are both my favorite ones, and I just love Finnick. I think he's one of my favorite characters. But this was such a good series, and if you haven't read it yet, just, I cannot recommend you do it enough if you like dystopian and that sort of vibe, and if you're a Hunger Games girly as well from the films. Literally just so good, and I will forever love these characters. I did read the other novellas and I love them so much, and I cannot wait for Haymitch's film. I'm so excited to see it, so I will definitely be going to the theater for that one. Next, we have the book that has made me cry the most, and you guys, when I say cry, I mean sob. I am a firm believer that a good cry can fix anything. I know that works for some people, doesn't work for others. Works for me, like a good cry, and I feel like a new person if I need to. But this book broke me. Like, I was sobbing for these people. That is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is the only book I've read by her. I definitely want to read more, but I know her books are on the heavier side, so I haven't been tempted to pick up any of them since, but I definitely want to read a couple more of hers because her writing was so good. If you don't know what The Nightingale is about, it follows two sisters during World War II, and they're very different sisters. One of them is very impulsive, very chaotic, wants to be in the middle of it all. The other one is very sensible, wants to protect her children, and will do anything for them. So it's both of their storylines while they get separated during the war and what happens to them. And you guys, first of all, same thing with Beartown. These girls felt so real, and I know that she based some of these stories based on things that happened to women in the war. Like, these two women in specific are not real, but it's based of different, like, things that have happened. And just the fact that people went through, like, it honestly, it is actually mind-blowing what humankind can actually come to. This story, I felt like she included beautiful human moments, and also, of course, all of the horrific things that happened, but also really important historic facts, and she just tied it in with such beautiful and masterful storytelling. It was literally one of the best books I have ever read, period. And yeah, of course, this was a 5-star for me, but I wanted to put it in the book that made me cry the most because none other take the crown other than this one. But it's also, like, I don't want to diminish how good this book is because it was definitely a 5-star. It is so good. I do think you need to be in the right frame of mind because there is a lot of really horrific things that are shown or written about in this book, but I cannot recommend it enough if you want to read something like that, like a historical fiction. It's so good. You guys, I can't believe all this thunder. Is actually insane. What the heck? Okay, next we're gonna talk about my newest fictional crush, and to be honest, I haven't read any new iconic book boyfriends this year. To be honest, there hasn't been any like Jacks or Reese's for me this year, but with that said, there is one that comes to mind, and it is The Villain in Assistant to the Villain. And I always think about this book, as you guys know, because I bring it up in pretty much every video that I make about books because I loved this so much. But I feel like every time I think back on it right now, who I picture is the guy that plays Superman. I don't think the film is even out, but I feel like he would be so perfect as this if he can play kind of the main vibes. But I feel like he gives off that dorky sort of character, and I feel like he would be perfect for this, so I've kind of been picturing him in here now. But he's just so funny, but he's like this morally great character. He's a badass, but he's also a softie, and I love him so much. So if you're looking for a really good romantasy and kind of like a love story interjected with comedy, but also just fun fantasy elements, definitely recommend Assistant to the Villain, which follows Evie. She's looking for a job and she winds up being the assistant to the villain, which of course includes all sorts of mischief, and it is so fun. And then on that note, I wanted to also do the tag of the book that I'm most excited for that's coming out in the rest of the year, and that is Accomplice to the Villain, which is the third one in that series. I think, when was it comes out? Is it August? Well, I can't remember if it was August, November. Anyways, it's in the second half of the year. I'm so excited for that book, you guys. I just want to know how the series ends, but I'm also so excited to be back in the world, and I cannot wait. So that's the book I'm most excited about for the rest of the year. Next, I wanted to talk about the prettiest cover that I bought this year, and I know I showed you the Hunger Games ones, and those are stunning, but I feel like the one that takes the crown is this one. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, but this one is specifically Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. That series has the most stunning covers you will ever see in the whole world. I don't know who is in charge of designing these, but whoever it is, you are absolutely perfection, because these books are stunning and I feel like they reflect the cozy vibes of the book so well. But just like, this is magic. This is magic on a cover. Like, you can literally see it there, and all the covers are absolutely stunning. And this was the culmination of a trilogy that follows Emily, who is a professor in Cambridge, and she studies fairies. So it's kind of her adventures in fairylands, and you know, as she battles evils. Literally such a sweet story. There's cottages, there's sewing, there's just such cozy vibes, and it's just like a warm hug, this series. And I think the cover definitely just takes the cake. It is so pretty, and I literally just have it up there with my little Tinkerbell. Again, the fairies in here look very different to what Tinkerbell looks like, but still good enough for me. Okay, next I want to talk about a new guilty pleasure book, and for me, those are the types of books that are, you know, are not the best, but you just had a really fun time reading. It's kind of like those popcorn films that you just like Twilight, you know, that's a guilty pleasure film. They're bad, but they're so good and you enjoy them. And for me, this year so far, it's been Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. Was this revolutionary? No. Was this super fun? Extremely. Like, I love a cowboy romance. Pull on the cowboy boots, put on the cowboy hat, and just have a good time. Like, I literally enjoy these so much. I do think Elsie Silver does a really good job in adding some depth to the characters. Some books are just vibes, but sometimes they're all you need, and this was exactly what I needed at the time. It was just such a fun read. And also, look at the cover. I did order this one on Blackwell's because the cover, I feel like in the US, is a lot prettier than the one that we have. I will probably buy the normal UK covers for the other ones just because it's cheaper for me, but I really wanted one of them in the US because they are just stunning and I had to have it. But yeah, the stories are fun. It's nothing crazy, but I feel like I had so much fun reading it. So if you're looking for a kind of a palate cleanser romance story, and again, cowboy vibes, this is all you need. Search no further. I'm in utter shock. And then I wanted to do one last category of a series that I'm really excited to continue reading, and that is Butcher and Blackbird, or I don't know what the series is actually called, but the first one is Butcher and Blackbird, and I recently read the first one and I'm so excited to continue it. I do think this is one of those guilty pleasure sort of books because they're just silly, they're fun, but it follows like murderous couples. It's like a really dark comedy, it's a romance story, and it's just so fun. Again, it's nothing crazy, but I had so much fun reading this that I'm really excited to continue reading the next two books, and I definitely will. But yeah, definitely recommend this as a fun, chill read. Those are all the books I wanted to talk about today. I feel like it was really fun to think about them in other ways other than just how many stars out of 5. So yeah, it was just really fun. But let me know if you have read any of these, or let me know if you have any recs for books that are coming out soon. There's so many that I have on my cart, and I I cannot wait. There's a couple of like cozy fantasies that I have as well that I really want to read, so I'm really excited for that. But anyways, there's always so much to read. Let me know your favorites so far this year or anything new you've discovered. And thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully I will see you in the next one very, very soon. Bye!